So I set up this plow truck this year, Snowway plow on it, and it's a 2003 Dodge Ram 1500. And before I put the plow on, I put a leveling kit in it, a 2-inch lift. It picked it up a bit more than that, but it's starting to settle down with the weight of the plow and everything shoving on it, so which is good, and it's working great. I like the truck so far, but I thought I should make a video on how I got my torsion bar out and how I got these keys installed. Being that, you know, this is a pretty rusted old truck, and sometimes you gotta fight with these things. So I've watched a couple videos online of guys with their tricks. You know, there's the new keys in, their tricks and how they went about getting this out. And nobody talked about the way that I did it, unless it's a video I missed. So overall it was pretty smooth, and then getting these new keys in was pretty easy. It was like a half-day job for one guy. So yeah, you'll see that by the end of the video. I only show one side. What I ended up doing is you have to drop this cross member down. It holds up the transmission, but I'll show you how to do that relatively safely. And I mean, use your own discretion. What I ended up doing is I ended up putting tension on this torsion bar the other way. So it's turning it in the opposite direction that it normally has tension, and then smashing the lower A arm or control arm, smashing it with a hammer until, you know, it came loose. So, and it worked very well. I mean, if you had two guys, you could even get one guy on with a big pipe wrench or something, putting the tension on. What I ended up doing is I had a piece of 15M rebar that was about the right length. I just snipped it off to the right length, and then used some blocks of wood and wooden shims, and so I could do it by myself and put the tension on it and go work on the far end while the tension was being held here. See how I do that in the video. You know, you don't need any special tools. A long ass pry bar is really helpful, but generally you just need your basic tools, and you can get these things out pretty easy. You know, I've seen videos of guys talking about using bottle jacks up in here sideways. Well, in my experience, that doesn't work, right? Because bottle jacks don't work on their side unless you've got some sort of special bottle jack that I've never seen or used. But generally they'll work on like a 45-degree angle, but that's about it. And this, you know, we're in Canada where they use calcium chloride and salt and everything on the road, so like it rusted, right? The front of this torsion bar is in there good, and it's a funny setup. It's not like the Ford that I used to have, that you could get to the other side of that torsion bar, which makes a lot of sense to pound it out, right? But in this scenario, it's kind of like a one way, and you pound it in, and it's very hard to get out. So think I can release that tension because it looks like it loosened up a little bit. Well, that worked. bar is loose now. This is just what I have to do because of all the rust. But yours may come apart a lot easier than this. But there you have it, right? So now, I think I'm going to try sliding it out just like that. I can always push down a little bit more. I'm going to leave one bolt in on the far side, obviously, so this whole thing can't drop out of here, right? Because there's, you know, it's bolted to the main right there on the engine, and everything's kind of connected with the drive shaft and everything, so that it can't physically fall out of there, but you just don't want it to fall further than it should, where it makes it hard to put it back. So this is okay. I got it down an inch here. With the tension I have on this side of the bar, it should be kind of kicking the far end of the bar up. So I'm hoping when I take this bar out, let's just see in a second here, I take this bar out, if I can flex that down enough and just slide it back. I'm going to take this out of here so nothing falls on myself, because I would have nobody else to blame because there's nobody else here. Yeah, I think the trick to that is not too much tension. Just put a little bit on there and give it some taps, because if you lift up too much, you risk upsetting the truck and really having a bit of a mess in your hand. Yeah, there you go. So there's your torsion bar. And she comes. Let's get a light on it. Situation. So there it is, it's loose. And I should be able to put this just here. See my torsion key now, so I've got my new one here, and I get a better look. It sits like that. Yeah. So let's get this key off and put this key on. This key is actually, if you can see, a little bit thinner. So the idea is to, I'll probably leave a little shoulder sticking out on that torsion bar, because I want this to be directly in the center of here where the pin pushes up and down, or the bolt pushes up and down in this. So yeah, let's get this apart. If I pound grease or anything would be good, but some of this anti-seize, supposedly this stuff works good. So then I'll paint that on there. All 6 sides. And just put a little bit in here. There'll be a few times where you can tell I'm not actually a mechanic because I just wing it. Use the floor jack from here, shove this back down buddy. You got a nice snowmobile there. You like it? Well, sure. It's really nice. You're good. You're good at it. Oh.
Yeah, did you see the suspension?
Yeah, I got it.
Love it?
What's that?
The suspension is seized?
Yeah, like completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, she looks low.
Yeah. And it was sitting higher when I put it away. So I think it's, I don't know, I'll just have to look into it. So I think I got that on there. Should be able to release the tension on this guy. And now I can do that with the socket. And there it goes. Perfect. So that's on there. Went and got that torsion bar out. On the other side did the exact same thing. Used actually a ball joint press to press it back up in there because that's what I had. Now, I rented that, well, it's free from Canadian Tire, and same with that puller, the jawed puller. It's kind of funny, I ended up needing both, because I wasn't sure. They didn't have the proper tool for torsion bar tensioning, but that one seems to work fine. It doesn't have the nub that sticks into the key, but it's got kind of a boot on it, and once it gets between the two rails in there, it can't really go anywhere. And conveniently, the new keys had a kind of a flat spot, whereas the old keys didn't. So I needed the jaws to release the tension off the old ones, and I needed this to put the tension back on for the lift. Now it's kind of, so it worked out. I rented both, and I ended up needing both. Because these new ones seem to, obviously they take a lot more tension. So that should stiffen up the front of this truck. It was saggy a little bit. So my next step is, I've got those 2 bolts in over here that go into this cross member that I took out. So I've torqued them on, and then I've got one slid in this here, that I've got to put the other one in, and I've got to retighten these bolts that go up to hold the transmission mount. So I'll do that now and torque them up. I don't ask me what the torque value is because I don't know what it is. And then I'll put the front tires on and level it out. Dropping the truck down, this was about 6 1/8, 6 1/4, and now it's, oh, this isn't that super accurate, 8 3/4, something like that. Yeah, it's more like 9 on this side. Well, there it is. Truck's lifted. I ended up leveling it out, so it's the same height on either side. Well, I had the tools here. It didn't take very long. And yeah, it makes a big difference. It's going to be nice for the clearance for the plow. It's got about 17 inches here at the front bumper. So we'll see, but it means that I may not have to remove this valance. I could bring the all-in plow mount in underneath it. So that's good. Anyway, good day, family day, another Sunday of making a video with some family time all here and there, and still managed to get the truck up and lifted, so I'm pretty happy with that. If you enjoyed the video or you found it was informative, just like and subscribe if you can. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.